Welcome to Uplift, inspiring stories to uplift the world. I am Gemma Serenity Gorokov, and today we have Sallyann joining us. And I'm so happy and grateful because she talks to the angels. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did that conversation with those angels, and how do you know it is angels and not something else?
Well, that's a great question, actually. For me, Gemma, I was in college and I knew that I loved being in college. I loved the experience. Everything that was happening in my life was really kind of perfect. It was just where I needed to be. And one night I was out with my girl tribe and we were at a pizza restaurant on campus. And I remember I looked across the restaurant and there was a man who was standing like in a very strange position, not a like I forget, like he had his arm. It was something I would never stand that way. And I felt like dread and sadness and despondency. And I knew this is not how I feel. Like, I know that I'm in touch with who I am. I was like, this is not mine. I don't understand it. And, I was 20 years old. I kind of panicked. And back then, I raced back to the dorm and called my mom because, of course, it was before cell phones. And I said, Mom, I'm having a nervous breakdown, is what I told her. I said, I'm having a nervous breakdown. You need to come pick me up. Something's wrong. I don't understand what's going on. And my mother is a real New Yorker. We're from New York. And she said, tell me what's happening. So I explained it. And she's like, ugh, you're fine. You're just psychic. I was like, what? Like we never used that word in my house. I didn't really know what that meant. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, babe, we all are. We're all just a bunch of witches. You're fine. And I was kind of shocked by it all. And really, to her credit, I got into training and I used the Silva technique. So I was in training within a month. And it really changed my life and formed who I was and helped me understand that I needed to know this. Like, it was my awakening, my moment. I knew I was safe. I knew it was a gift from God. And we were brought up Roman Catholic. So fire, brimstone, New York City, you have a lot of fear in the Roman Catholic Church, or at least that's how I was brought up. And I came to realize that it really was a gift, that this was my guardian angels that were talking to me in a way that I understood. And they really do talk in this place of love for me. It's not scary or frightening. And they've taught me a lot. I've been doing this for 40 years. And I'm so, so very grateful to do it. And so, I would just talk to my friends' guardian angels and give them messages and talk to my guardian angels. My husband would always laugh because I'd be driving down the road and all of a sudden I'd make a right. He'd go, what are you doing? I'm like, they said to make a right. So when your angels tell you to make a right, you make a right. And so he laughs. I'm so blessed to see them every day. I have a very large angel that he's my main guy. His name's George, and he's very big and he has giant wings and he's my protector, but he's also my everyday. So he helps me through most things. I have other angels, and we're all born with guardian angels. I think it's really important for all of us to know that we are born with them. You don't have to really earn them. You just have to decide to be aware of them. And so, like, fast forward about 8 years ago, I was in the corporate world, successful, did wonderful things in New York City, had great experiences, loved my work. As hard as I worked, I still loved it. Have a fabulous family. And so 8 years ago, I was in Arizona and I had this very big job. And I could tell like things were starting to shift. Like the energy started to shift. And I'm like, after 10 years, I'm thinking, it's time. I need to move on. So, like every corporate person, I just started putting my feelers out. And sure enough, I was brought into the vice president's office, and they were like, yeah, sorry, we have to let you go. we need your income because there were some big changes happening. And I just started to laugh. I was like, all right, well, like, good luck with that. Because I used to bring in $1 million, which was nowhere near my income, just into the center and the things that I know. And it's very funny because my husband was really mad. He's still kind of mad. And I'm like, this is a gift. Like, I am not sweating this at all. Um, and really, as I'm packing up my office, word is spreading and I'm getting phone calls. So I'm like, it's fine. I am like the most employable person there is. Um, Fast forward 6 weeks later, I still don't have a job. And I am not understanding this. So I'm a Reiki master and besides an angel communicator. And I was with a girlfriend who asked me to work on, she had plantar fasciitis. So she said, will you come work on my feet? I was like, of course, right? Like, what else am I doing at this point? So I was there working on her and we were talking and she said, tell me what's going on. And I'm really befuddled. How do you know the mayor of a town and not be able to get an interview for a marketing job? How do you know and communicate for 10 years with the vice president of a radio station and not be able to get an interview for their promotions department? So all of these strange things. And, everybody that I knew in the corporate world was like, you'll get a job in 3 minutes. I literally thought I would leave my office from packing it up and have a job by the end of the day. It was just how things were working. And it totally actually made sense to me at the time. So the 6 weeks later, I was a little discouraged when my girlfriend asked me this question and she said, so she's like, well, give me some examples. So I started listing some of the examples and I just started cracking up and she's looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, 13 opportunities that should have happened, 13 opportunities that didn't happen. And now this all makes sense to me. And she's like, what are you talking about? Gemma, 13 is my lucky number. Traditionally, not a lucky number. It is. I was married on a 13, did not want to get married in that month, but the way it worked out, had to get married that day. We had a groomsman come in from Germany. There was a limited number. It was how the Catholic Church out here in Arizona worked. So I got married on a 13. My son, 3 years later, was born 2 weeks early on a 13. My daughter, 5 years later, was born 2 days late on a 13. So I'm like, yeah, 13 is my lucky number. I'm thinking about these job opportunities. It's 13. And I just start laughing. I was like, okay, I'm not listening, right? Like I have to listen. And it's scary to listen. It's scary to change direction or go into an uncomfortable place. But I know we've talked about this before. It's like, I really believe that you have to walk through the door that God gives us, that the universe chooses to give us. You have to walk through the door. As scary as it might be, or as uncomfortable as it is, that's where we grow. And so I called my college girls. There's 9 of us. We're still all great friends. And I called them and I said, all right, I think I'm just going to be doing like the readings and all that kind of stuff instead of going back to the corporate world. And I have to tell you, almost every single one of them said it's about time. And I thought, wow, if these women that have known me for 30 years, and sometimes, your friends know you better than yourself, thought that it was about time, I thought, I better start listening. And that's what sometimes I joke around and said, God kicked my ass. And that's what I do have to do. And so I did. And so my husband he believes in me, but this stuff scares him. He's an accountant. He's a numbers guy, right? Like his world is very black and white. I'm all gray and colorful. It's really different. And I think within a month, and I remember sitting down on the couch in the middle of the day thinking, what am I doing here? I'm not allowed to do this. Because I didn't give myself permission to do that when I was in the corporate world. 60 hours a week is what you were supposed to do. I remember my husband said, guess what? You just made more money in 2 weeks, or you put more money in the bank account in 2 weeks than you ever did for a month working at the other place. And I thought, that's not why I'm doing this. But for him, it gave him comfort, right? It made him feel like it was the right thing to do. And so I'm really blessed that I have like my kids that support me, and uh, my husband, and my clients. And really within 2 or 3 weeks, I had clients internationally. I because there's no time and space when you talk to your angels. And I clear homes. So I clear homes for sale. I clear homes just to live in, to make life better during construction. So that's super easy to do. Internationally, sometimes I laugh because I'll be working and I'll be like, oh, do you have a blue couch? And people are like, yeah. I'm like, sorry, I'm just walking your house right now. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Or even more important is to give all of us humans the opportunity to talk to their guardian angels and get the messages they need so they can go forward in their own life. And that's really what the plan has always been, is to give people permission to be who they need to be, give people permission to step forward, to empower themselves, to understand that the world is theirs to make what they choose to make it. And even when, I talk to clients, I used to say in all English speaking parts of the world, but I have lots of clients in Mexico and Taiwan, so I can't say that anymore. But God gives us free will. Just because you are told a message from your guardian angels doesn't mean you have to do it. Yes. Should you? Probably, because you've opened the door to ask. You've opened the door to the possibility or what your need is, because we all have feelings like deep down in our mitochondria, in our humanness, that says, I know I need to do this. Sometimes we just need confirmation that we're on the right path because it's scary or it's new or it's different. And just like a pat on the back, because the people around us and the humanness of us all has a tendency to bring down vibration to other people's levels of vibration. And, we've all heard it in 100 different ways. Only surround yourself by your best team, your best cheerleaders, the people that support you, that are not jealous. And it doesn't mean that you can't have the friends that maybe are hard, but what it means is to listen to yourself. What it means is to get confirmation from others, to listen to yourself. And if you can't trust that, then that's why I'm here. I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't believe in it. I feel people will find me when they need to find me. So yes, I'm on social media to give those messages. We do angel card pulls and just to talk about gratitude and the sliding scale of priority. There are tools out there to help us become empowered. Next week, I have a book out. I'm a co-author with a Jim Brick book called Cracking the Rich Code, and it's endorsed by Tony Robbins. So that's coming out next week. And I'm actually finishing up the book, The Empowerment Approach. I'm hauled up here in Pine Top, surrounded by nature and bluebirds and trees and hummingbirds everywhere, just to really be able to focus, to be able to download this book so I can share it with people, so this way they can understand the power that they have within themselves. My goal is to help 10 million people. How I'm not sure I can help 10 million people with one-on-ones, but I can help 10 million people with a book, with speaking engagements, which is what I do, with workshops, with angel cards, so they can pull their own messages. So it's about reaching the masses that want and need to help themselves, but of course, still being present and here for them in any way that I can. So that's really like my huge blessing in life. I feel so blessed to be able to do that and to really just encourage people to go forward, live their best lives, get the messages to live their best life any way they can. If it's through my book, if it's through somebody else's book, if it's through a one-on-one session with me, honored to do that. But if I can encourage you to step through the door, to live your life, to uplift your life in this beautiful way that you deserve, just something else. People don't understand that they deserve this. I don't think they hear it enough. But they're loved human beings that deserve to live a beautiful life. Yes, a life with challenges because that helps us grow, but to live a beautiful life.
How amazing. Thank you so, so much, Sallyann, because we can really feel how connected you are to the angels, to the spiritual beings around us. And it really resonates a lot, because when we step into believing what we do not see with our physical eyes, but we start to listen with our spiritual ears, to see with our spiritual eyes, to put our antenna out there and to really like perceive and become conscious that we are one with everything and everyone around us. That also means we have one big super consciousness. And as soon as you get extremely clear about who you are and what you offer, you indeed feel it out strong enough that you attract all these other souls and all these other consciousness who are on that same wavelength and indeed find you, and you don't know how, but suddenly you get phone calls here and there and here and there, or email or Facebook Messenger or anything. And it's like, okay, so yeah, sure, I can help you with that. And you just like abide, follow, and serve. That's
Right.
the most beautiful way to go about it. Serve as a
Exactly.
catalyst for people to understand that they can actually do that too.
Mm-hmm. Right. I know I say that to some of my clients because they'll be like, why do I feel now that my father's around me, or I dream more about him? I'm like, you opened the door. You chose to walk through the door to have me help your angels connect with you, that you believe that you've opened your chakra system. So now it's an opportunity for them to reach out to you in a beautiful, non-threatening way. And it's amazing when people can do that. It's so funny. Very early on when I was doing this, I had a client come to me and she holds up 3 of my business cards, like a deck of cards, 3 of them. I was like, yeah, those are my cards. And she goes, 3. I got 3 of your business cards in 1 week from 3 women that are not connected in any way of my life. I figured it was a sign. And I started to laugh and I was like, I think so. I'm glad you listened, right? Because signs come in all different ways. So it's pretty fascinating.
It truly is. So, Sallyann, what is your website, or how can people reach out to you?
So Heaven's Light Wellness, heavenslightwellness.com, Heaven's Light Wellness on all social media. Feel free to be part of our YouTube community, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of those things are available. There's great resources on the website with the blogs. And that's one thing that we do put on the YouTube channel is once a month, we create a new, I'm going to say theme, a new way of thinking that will go on the YouTube channel, plus with our newsletter. So we send out a printed newsletter version of it, because everybody learns in different ways. So we'd love to have you as part of the Heaven's Light Wellness community and to know that you are strong and that you're loved.
Beautiful. Thank you so, so much. We all appreciate you, and thank you for simply sharing this intuition and this connection. We truly, truly appreciate that. It is uplifting, it is inspiring, and it's just like bringing ourselves back to us. Thank you for that.
Thank you. It's an honor.